What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Darium's Competitive Pokemon, here to talk about a brand new Pokemon GX. This is an Ultra Beast just revealed. Pretty stoked about it. It is a metal type. We're talking about Celesteela GX from the Sun and Moon 4 plus Battle Boost set that is being released in Japan on October 20th. So this is a huge Ultra Beast Pokemon. This thing's massive. I've actually read a lot of comments on the internet that some people are not super stoked about this card. They think it's bad, and it might be. I don't know. But I think that it's not as bad as people are saying. This thing has got some stuff going for it. First of all, it's a 200 hit point basic Pokemon GX. It's metal typing. Metal type has some support in expanded format. So this thing, maybe it sees some play down the road in a metal type archetype. I think that, at the very least, we're talking about a 200 hit point basic Pokemon GX that has an alternative weakness for metal. It's actually weak to lightning and has a resistance to fighting. So I thought that was super cool just looking at the card from the get-go, because metal has like a lot of support in expanded format. I mean, there is the new, or not the new, but there's the Bronzong that accelerates with metal links, accelerates metal energy to the bench. So metal decks have seen some success in the past. There's a plethora of metal attackers that are viable. There's that Genesect that can switch the tools that are attached to it. There is, of course, Aegislash EX, which resists Pokemon that have special energy attached to them. There are just a bunch of different options, and I think Celesteela GX is just a cool addition to the metal type arsenal if you're going to be building a Bronzong deck. So, as I mentioned before, this thing's got 200 hit points, absolutely massive. Slap a Fighting Fury belt on this thing, and we're talking 240 hit points for a basic Pokemon GX. It's got 3 attacks. Let's talk about them. Celesteela's first attack is Rocket Fall, as it's translated, and it costs a metal and 2 colorless. It does 30 plus damage, and it does 30 more damage for each colorless in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. So this is a little bit of an underwhelming attack, I'm not going to lie. Most Pokemon that you're going to be attacking probably have somewhere from 1 to 3 in their retreat cost. Obviously, if you're doing this attack against a Pokemon that only has a retreat cost of 1, then you're going to be doing 60 damage. I guess that could boost up to 70 damage with a Fighting Fury belt, or 90 damage with a Choice Band if you're facing an opposing Pokemon EX or GX. So there is that, but at the end of the day, Pokemon with 2 retreat costs, which is probably the average. I'd say the average Pokemon has maybe a retreat cost of 2. That's just what you're probably most likely to be seeing. It's going to be doing 90 damage against those Pokemon with 2 retreat costs. So it's a very middling attack. It's not totally busted. It's not like the worst thing ever, but you're probably not going to be using Rocket Fall all that often. The second attack is not all that bad though. For a metal and 3 colorless, it does Moon Press, which is 130 damage. So get some damage on the board. 130 is enough to knock out, opposing Pokemon Shaman EX, things like that. If you have a Fighting Fury belt, does 140 damage. It's, this is going to be an attack that is 2-hit, 2-hit KOing your opponent. This Pokemon does not have a main attack that's going to be getting a lot of one-hit KOs, but that's not really the whole point of the Pokemon from my perspective. I mean, this GX attack is pretty sweet, but the point to me is that you're going to be plugging away, doing 130 damage with this Moon Press, and then you might be trying to heal this thing with either AZ, pick it up, and then you can Metal Links back onto it with your Bronzong, or you can Max Potion this thing and then Metal Links back with your Bronzong, something like that. You're going to be trying to pick this thing up. Even Acerola is an option. You can Acerola the thing up. It's got a lot of hit points, so it can afford to 2-hit KO your opponent, because most Pokemon are going to be 2-hit KOing it back. This Blaster GX attack for a metal and 3 colorless energy also does 180 damage, and it says turn all of your prize cards face up, and they remain up for the rest of the game. At this point, it's becoming pretty clear that most of the Ultra Beast Pokemon GX, their GX attacks all interact with the prize cards. So this is kind of the gimmick I think that they're going for, and it's really interesting. This has got a town map effect, does do 180 damage. So the Celesteela could get in there, reveal all your prizes, which is very nice. I played Night March for a long time, and at the beginning, Night March pretty much ubiquitously, they all play a town map, just to be able to search out your double colorless energy, your puzzles of time, things like that, to be able to find those in the prizes and be able to piece together things that you needed to be able to win the game. 180 damage is a good amount of damage, especially in expanded format. There are a lot of Pokemon EX and GX that have 180 hit points. Assuming you probably have a Fighting Fury belt on this thing, you're going to be doing 190 damage, which is just enough to knock out your Pokemon like Turtonator GX and your Pokemon like Ho-Oh GX, who are going to be causing your metal deck the most amount of problems. So I think that probably Celesteela, the cool thing about it is that it is just a metal Pokemon with a huge amount of hit points, and it is not weak to fire. That is really the thing to write home about here. Being able to play with your prizes face up for the rest of the game is kind of like icing on the cake. Celesteela can get in there and take a huge one-hit knockout against something like a Turtonator though, or a Ho-Oh, and I really like it for that if you were to play a metal type deck. You know, otherwise Celesteela is not going to be doing anything probably in standard format. Certainly there's really no home for this card in standard format. There's no metal acceleration and, you know, nothing like that, and metal has not really seen a lot of play in expanded format lately. I mean, with fire being very good, metal pretty much has to take a back seat to that. Also, you know, I think electric has just more or less proven itself to be the better bench accelerating stage 1 Pokemon. It has definitely shown itself to be more versatile than Bronzong in these, you know, past couple of years. But I think that Bronzong does have potential, especially with cards like Celesteela coming out. Maybe Metal starts to get some more support down the line, and we start to see some Metal decks, and maybe Celesteela finds a home here. So I don't think Celesteela GX is the worst GX I've ever seen. Certainly it is a little bit underwhelming. The prize thing, pretty cool, but not game-breaking enough to really, you know, make this a tournament-winning card. However, I do think it has a home somewhere, and it could be interesting to see eventually. So that's it for Celesteela GX. Let me know what you all think of Celesteela GX in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Peace.